Hi, it's anniversary of Victory of Justice. For 30 years, Armenia occupied internationally recognized territories of Azerbaijan. Second Karabakh War started on 27th of September 2020, lasting 44 days, ended on 9th of November. The war were in the occupied territories of Azerbaijan, which is called Karabakh. By the end of war, caused 93 deaths of civilians and 416 civilian injuries in the areas of Azerbaijan out from the conflict zone. Human Rights Watch confirmed that over 1,000 civilian objects such as hospitals, schools, government buildings have been either destroyed or damaged by the Armenian forces. Armenian military forces had carried out unlawful discriminate rocket and missile strikes on the Azerbaijani territories. That such indiscriminate attacks were war crimes, violation of international humanitarian law. Actually, this occupation was also violation of international law. On 10th of December, Amnesty International released a report on videos depicting war crimes. In one of the videos, Armenian soldiers were seen cutting the throat of Azerbaijani captive. This is branch violation of international humanitarian law, causing unnecessary suffering. Armenia struck several Azerbaijani cities outside of conflict zone, most frequently Terter, Beylegan, Berde. 4 separate missile attacks on Ganja killed 32 civilians, 125 injured. The attack was condemned by the European Union. Azerbaijani authorities accused the Armenian armed forces of committing war crime through the firing of ballistic missile at civilian settlements, calling forces of committing war crimes through the firing of ballistic missile at civilian settlements, calling the third attack the act of genocide. Armenian forces shelled a cemetery in city of Tartar during the funeral ceremony, killed 4 civilians, injuring 4 more. All these attacks are confirmed by international communities. Deadliest attack of the conflict has been done by Armenia, attacking Berde city of Azerbaijan, far from the conflict zone. Twice missile attacks caused 26 deaths, over 83 injuries of civilians. Beylegan, Gence, Terter, Mingechevir, Absharon, Khızı have been attacked. Imagine, in the middle of night, babies, children, families. The casualties caused 39 years old Red Crescent volunteers, while 2 other volunteers were injured. It is called terrorist act against civilians. Just 3 days after war started, Human Rights Watch reported that Armenia or Artsakh forces used cluster munition and stated that Armenia should immediately cease using cluster munitions or supplying them to Nagorno-Karabakh forces. Armenia didn't hesitate welcoming terrorist fighters, especially from PKK, people of Armenian origin from Middle East and other countries. On 7 October 2020, Azerbaijan officially notified members of the World Conference on Constitutional Justice, the Conference of European Constitutional Court, the Association of Asian Constitutional Courts, and similar organizations that it had launched the operation in line with international law to re-establish its internationally recognized territorial integrity and for the safety of its people. Armenian forces have fired 15,500 shells of the territory of Terter district until 29th of October 2020. Hundreds of Azerbaijanis living abroad protested Armenian aggression, terror acts, war crimes worldwide. In the early 90s, Armenians occupying Azerbaijani territories, destroying its religious and cultural heritage for 3 decades. There is no solid building in Fizuli. Aghdam looks like a ghost house. You cannot imagine how beautiful these territories were looking 30 years ago. These territories are getting rebuilt, restructured, new roads are constructed. Difference of approach to the land shows also for who these lands are homeland. There are documental truths of Khojaly genocide. Red Cross were carrying dead and frozen bodies of people from forests after genocide occurred at night in the coldest months of the winter, February 25-26. Azerbaijani living their home from Karabakh couldn't take anything from their homes when they were attacked to flee. The families forced to leave Karabakh, their home in 1990s, sent their sons to fight for home in 2020 Karabakh War. War ends in 10th of November. Armenia returns rest of the occupied territories, city by city, by deadlines. November 20 Aghdam, November 15 Kelbajar, December 1 Lachin district and other territories. The Khojaly genocide shows how Azerbaijani have been forced to leave their lands, but Armenians were allowed to leave Azerbaijani territories peacefully. They burned houses, cut all possible trees and called it that they couldn't leave this to enemy. Imagine, during the armed conflict, not attacked civilians damaged nature too, additional to the forest fires. They could not neither come nor leave the lands peacefully, respecting to the international law. Armenians established here unrecognized state called Artsakh. It caused life of 2,800 Azerbaijani soldiers and over 3,000 Armenian soldiers. Azerbaijan had never laid claim on others' territories or committed crimes against humanity. Every Azerbaijani was watching news day and night, looking forward freedom news from the president of Azerbaijan. Shusha has been occupied in 1992, 8th of May. 44 days war ended with the freedom of Shusha on 8th of November 2020. After this freedom, 8 became the number of the city. The chain of violation of international law, Armenia didn't stop afterwards and doesn't provide mind map, which again caused deaths of Azerbaijanis, including civilians. Locals of freed cities and villages were living the best days of their lives, getting news from the president of Azerbaijan. The spirit of the nation is unexplainable. 17 new orders and medals were established. People cried and laughed together. War, armed conflict are not good things. When it occurs, international humanitarian law, humanitarian ethics has to be respected. And today, 9th of November, is celebrated in Azerbaijan as a day of victory, victory of justice. Happy anniversary! 30 years of occupation of your homeland. It may make no sense to the third party, but if it does, you are the person of justice. Happy victory, people of justice.